Was there a straw that broke the camel's back where you decided you wanted to make skits about this now, as we're in your costume closet, right?
Yeah, this is, I mean, I guess you could call this a costume closet. I call it like a, I don't know what you'd call it actually.
A lot of wigs.
It looks, yeah, like I was saying to you before, it kind of looks like a serial killer lair or something here. Like it's clearly like past victims, I don't know. How much as like an intern could I expect to make? I added a bunch of useless skills to my LinkedIn.
Great. When do you think I can get that by?
Should I just make up a fucking time?
Think Friday's doable?
Definitely not.
Sure. How's 1 p.m. sound?
But actually, there was a period of time where I was working and doing this, and after 4 months in corporate, I just quit.
4 months in corporate, wow.
Yeah, it was actually, looking back, it was the stupidest decision ever. Like, imagine like blowing up on TikTok, and then 4 months into that, just throwing away your education, throwing away like all your future like professional opportunities. Just like, it was super risky. Best decision I've ever made, but like super risky.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people resonate with that. Like you heard at the beginning, that's like more than half of the generation is trying to do something like that. I'm sure everyone who works a job at least has some creative part in the back of their mind that they're wishing they could.
This is cliche as hell, but like, why? What do you got to lose, really?
But I think a lot of people don't get the reality of like being an influencer and making videos for a living, and keeping up with a very insatiable audience. And you recently had an experience not a lot of people get to see of filming a bunch of stuff, and then what happened?
I lost 6 months of my life, like blood, sweat, and tears into part 2 of a YouTube series. It involved me going to career fairs, New York University, Cornell University, as an employer. Like signed up as an employer, paid $2,000, got a table, got stuff to give away. I'm there, got all the cameras set up, footage from that. We got 2 career fairs. I went to an Oracle conference. I went to the Harvard and Penn clubs in New York. All these like different little like pranks that were part of like a story, cringe comedy, or they were supposed to be parts of a mockumentary, right? Yeah. Lost it all. Lost all the footage. My dumb ass had it all on a single SanDisk drive that was in a backpack that was thrown out by my apartment maintenance staff.
So we'll never be able to see this.
There's bits and pieces, like some I saw some of the raw footage, but it's missing maybe the audio, or like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. It was like, actually, like, I went through like all the stages of grief when I realized it was gone, because the amount of just money, time, and effort that was into that was insane. And like, even if I still have like a fraction of it, let's say it's like 20%, like part of me just wants to just like throw it all away, even like what little I could like probably save off my cameras, rather than like upload the 20%, essentially.
Well, you lost 6 months of investigation. I mean, that's the side of this that we don't talk about, that shit breaks, gets lost all the time, and sometimes to a catastrophic degree. But now that it's happened and you've gone through the stages of grief, what does your acceptance phase look like?
That's a really good question. Part of me feels like it almost happened for a reason, because from that experience, 1, I've learned a shit ton, but 2, part of me feels like I was actually going down the wrong path with that video already. Because I made this like first YouTube video that I just fucking loved. It's the best thing I ever made. Like, I thought it was so funny. It had a message. It was like creative storytelling. It took like so much courage in getting out of my comfort zone, right? Because I have like tons of social anxiety. So like doing something like that for me is terrifying. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do in the first place, was to like just fucking prove to myself I could do something that crazy. So that was like such a, I just loved that video, and people loved it and did super well. Way more than any skit I've ever made. And I wanted so badly to make like the best follow-up ever. The best. Like, So this next thing, I spent, again, 6 months just pouring my heart and soul into something that I don't think would have been as good. And I don't think was coming from the same place. It was coming from like, I want to follow up this last thing. So that's the acceptance, I suppose, is like realizing maybe that wasn't even in the right direction. And I also, you know, like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Like I still haven't done all that. I like grew as a person and grew as like learned a lot of shit, even if the final footage might not end up being seen.
I mean, that's the balance, isn't it? You know, with what people want to see, you know, trying to follow up well versus like what you think you should be doing.
I mean, I see that all the time. It's like, am I making it because I want to make it, or am I making it because that's what I think is going to do well? And I think if you are following that ladder, like if you're using that ladder, the ladder as a motivation, you're going to run into problems long term. I think the only sustainable way to do this is to just, again, it's cliche, but follow like your creative instincts, follow what you want to make, follow your drive. And that's what that first video was for me. Yes. And the second video, I don't think it would have been. There's so many things I'm considering doing. Like part of me wants to take a step back from like IRL cringe comedy, and like maybe start like a corporate comedy troupe and like make skits about the corporate world that are way more professionally done and don't include just me. That's like one thing I'm considering doing. Another path is to double down on that and just say, screw it, video number 2 didn't work, but we're gonna make video number 3. And then just like outside of all of that too, I want to take like another serious attempt at acting as a career for me. So like maybe not get casted in something that isn't like my own creation.
You say another, was that originally a plan?
Yeah, when I used to do acting auditions a lot. I think like a lot of content creators who in the comedy space like do auditions. And those just take so much effort. So about 1.5 years ago, I stopped doing them. But now I'm like back with my acting coach, and I'm going to start like doing auditions again. And maybe I end up being casted in some sort of corporate comedy show. I don't know.
I gotta say, it makes sense how you only lasted 4 months at a big firm. If you got that acting bug, that's an irresistible thing. Well, thank you so much for doing this. It's been great meeting you. Thank you to Ben Porto also for helping set this up. You're goated.
Shout out, Chad.